When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of 90s and early 2000s sitcom reruns. I used to watch shows like Girlfriends, Living Single, and The Game. And I used to be so allured by the female characters and the way they dressed. Seeing confident female characters like Joan and Regina and Tasha Mack made me wish when I got older to be as strong and confident and as dressed well as they were. Hindsight now, I learned two things from that. One, I had no business watching any of those shows when I was like 5. But two, that's really what began my obsession with Office Core. Like most kids, I really wanted to grow up so that way I can make money and get stuff that I really wanted, which was just really clothes and candy. And yes, even as a kid, I was obsessed with fashion. Some people just know what they want to do early on in their life. It really wasn't until I got older and became more aware of the job market that I was going to be entering that I realized that making money just means paying more bills and taxes. But even though I did not want to work that much anymore as I got older, Office Core still was something that I was largely obsessed with. Office Core serves as an escape from reality for so many people like myself who's in the job market, especially for those who hate their jobs or feel as though they have no control over it. Fashion is a huge escape and a way for people to feel that control. I recently just worked my first corporate internship and I get it. I honestly get it when people say they're crashing out over their job. It's not for the weak, to be honest. Like, I don't get me wrong, I loved everything that I did. I loved exactly what I did and I feel like it's something that I want to do, but it can definitely be an adjustment. And you can definitely feel powerless, especially if you're at the bottom of the corporate ladder or just overall just stuck in a position and not knowing when you will be promoted or even if you will be. It can definitely be brutal and make a lot of people feel powerless. And I hope your day comes where you get what you deserve. It should also be noted how high the unemployment rate among college graduates are, which has caused a lot of post grads to long for a life that they can't have. I mean, it came out that in some Asian country, I think it's China, that a lot of graduates, postgraduates are like can rent out an office space that's like pretend for them to like emulate the idea of what it's like to be in an actual corporate office. And I mean, it's had apparently it's yielded high results for them for those college students who like actually don't have a job but rent out the space. So maybe they're onto something. But Office Siren or Office Core emulates a curated lifestyle of luxury. When most people think of Office Core, they think of that high rise corner office and expensed dinners and lunches. Because the reality is that most people that work a corporate job work for an unlivable wage, living and are living paycheck to paycheck. This also connects with the pandemic. So, after the pandemic began, it really changed the way our relationship is with work. Our homes became our offices, and we started wearing PJs and sweats full time. So, it kind of blurred the lines between professional and personal life. So, a lot of ways that people would express themselves, especially in a job where multiple people are doing the same things as them, they no longer had that. When there was so much craziness and chaos going on in the outside world, Office Core provided a sense of control. Wearing what you wanted provided a sense of happiness and power over your life. Okay, so I'm about to insert my random intro. Hi everyone, the world is so crazy, so dark. Step into my universe, the fashionverse, and come along on a journey where I talk about literally anything, but today is Office Core. So let's get back into the talking. This kind of reminds me of a few months ago where there was the whole girl that supposedly got fired from her 6-figure job salary for wearing an office siren outfit that was a little too skimpy. And I say supposedly because there was really no video. I think she left a comment, but there was like no video, even though everyone was saying there's a video of that girl who was talking about how she got fired, but whatever. So apparently that was making its rounds on TikTok of her who got fired for wearing something that's a little too revealing. And here's the thing. I think that very little people actually wear skimpy office siren outfits to work. I think most people know that offices and corporate offices just have dress codes. I mean, it varies different based from office to office. Like for me, in my experiences in the past with corporate settings, it's been very casual, but I know people who their version of work casual is just wearing a suit with no blazer. So it is different based each place. But I think most people know like there are certain, rules that are in place in everywhere and what you can and can't wear. I think maybe there is a couple people who don't, those who haven't really touched grass and only spend most of their time online know that. But like I'm really sure like most people know not to wear that. I hope you know not to wear skimpy office siren outfits to your job. That's like in a corporate office at least. And me saying this kind of opens a can of worms for the conversation of women wearing revealing outfits, which like is sparked for every conversation to be honest. That conversation got sparked with this topic of office siren, but then it also got sparked up from the teacher Bay topic of her wearing clothes that people don't think is appropriate for work, as well as like the poster girl dress topic. Like it just goes on and on. I feel like this conversation gets sparked up like every 3 business days, and I really don't want to get into it in this video, but looking at all of the office core and office siren looks that are really big, there is a level of nostalgia in it. When most people think of office core or even a little bit of office siren, they think of that sexy 90s office look that like you picture Rachel from Friends or Joan from Girlfriends or even like Regina from Living Single, like I have. And it really harks back to a simpler time of like being able to have a clear career path and just like when jobs were, I don't want to say easier, but more more livable. There were actually times when 60K salary was considered a livable wage for a person and their family. That's not a thing anymore. It also makes you think of a time of the girl boss era, not the 2010s girl boss era, but the 80s and 90s girl boss era, when power suits and feeling successful and independent and embracing ambitions was a thing. I also think that 90s comms drew up a lot of obsolete jobs that aren't a thing anymore, like Gen Z and Generation Alpha and the generations after them, they certainly didn't experience a lot of office jobs at like newspaper companies or working in a high stakes advertising agency in a room full of men. Like, it just makes people long for a time that they never really got to see and therefore romanticize it. I also think there's a sense of office core portraying a level of luxury to it. There's a reason that most luxury fashion brand shows have some sort of office core for every fashion week. And it's not just because it's safe during this time of recession when we can't afford to take risks. Office core also is gets associated a lot with the minimalist clean girl aesthetic and how people feel rich when they dress and what would they consider to be luxe. Like before, office core really reminds you of that luxury job that pays you really well. So of course you're gonna feel rich. And what do we think rich people wear? They wear a lot of like luxury suits and other things. I mean, how would we really know? Like, unless you are really a one percenter, how would you really know? We can't. We don't. We really don't. We think we know what they wear, but we really don't. I mean, the reality is they were like plain basic clothing, but their plain basic clothing is absolutely expensive. Like, a white t shirt for them is like $15,000. I'm not talking about like, oh, like new money rich that have a couple that are like millionaires. I'm talking about like the true one percenters where they're like great grandkids literally don't have to work. Like they haven't had a job since like the 1800s type of rich. But our obsession with office core speaks to the human desire for meaning and structure, especially in a world around us where it feels anything but that. I think it's fascinating how the office core is a reflection of our evolving relationship with work, identity, and the pursuit of a well ordered life. I certainly myself love the office core and continue to wear it in all different facets of my life, whether it be in a professional setting, like interviewing or working in a job, or casual going day to day of my life. Okay, so originally I had actually finished the video, but I thought I would add this since Kim Kardashian's show called All's Fair about lawyers or whatever came out, and I feel like it really ties into this whole office core conversation about aesthetics, because I didn't watch the show from what everyone says, the show is mostly style over substance. What I mean is the show has been dragged left and right for the plot not really making any sense, having this girl boss vibe to it, this 2016 girl boss vibe to it, and just overall taking itself too seriously for the fact that the plot isn't that great. But also, I want to preface this by saying I really haven't watched it. I've just heard some commentary on it. I think also what's so funny about this is because Kim Kardashian has been like for years now trying to pass the bar exam and become a lawyer, but has failed, which is like a very interesting story because somebody with so much money cannot pass the bar exam. Like, I mean, I heard it's a really hard exam, but anyway, the point is that she came out with like a post being like, I'm not a lawyer, I just play a well-dressed one or whatever, and that really is like all it is. And I feel like Kim Kardashian is exactly proving the point I was saying earlier, or a long time ago by the time I recorded this bit, but about office core being used like many other styles to express who you want to be when you can't control things. Kim Kardashian is not a lawyer, and I don't want to say she'll never be, but it's looking pretty grim for her. And so what does she do because she can't become a lawyer? She goes ahead and plays one, a very rich, photo-ready lawyer all the time. Playing a lawyer that has thousands of Birkin bags to her disposal would make Kim Kardashian feel like she's actually a lawyer going into her fancy law firm that she owns. In the current job market that we're in, we all want this sense of control that we are able to get the jobs we so desperately want. However, that's not always true. And I know the difference between Kim Kardashian wanting to strive to become a lawyer for years and a person who's desperately looking for a job that pays more than $60,000 to feed their family are two very completely different things. But there is a level of sameness in that both desire this control over the outcome when there isn't any. So the next time you see a TikToker or anyone wearing office core aesthetic, maybe just think they want control of their lives. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all of that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!